شكرا للسيد أليكس سلون المدير التنفيذي لسكول فاونديشن. الآن حضورنا الكرام سنبدأ أولى حلقات أو جلسات النقاش. الجلسة الأولى راح تكون حول المحتوى العربي على الإنترنت مع السيدة آن حبيبي وضيوف جلسة الكرام. تفضلي سيدة آن، وأطلب أيضا من ضيوف الكرام أن يتفضلوا إلى المسرح.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is the first panel of the evening, and we're going to do this as a rapid-fire TV show. So first, before I start, I want to express my intense appreciation, respect, and amazement for the MIT experience of the last 3 days. This is my first time here, and while I work every day in the area of entrepreneurship, this personally has been a transformative experience for me, and I want all of us to give an enormous applause and show of gratitude to the broad MIT team and all the sponsors and supporters that pull off the unthinkable. Tonight we're going to kick off 20 minutes on content. The power of the last century was oil. Arguably, the power of this century is content. It is a whole new energy source. But how you capture it, how you manage it, is the art, and in some cases, a science. You have before you, arguably, some of the most famous Arab content entrepreneurs who have been assembled here to have this discussion with you. As they speak, you're going to want to listen and you're going to want to tweet. In case you have forgotten this, the tweet handle for this evening is, of course, hashtag MITEF Arab, MITEF Arab. You're going to want to tweet the content that they're going to give you. So let me tell you how it's going to work very quickly. They're going to introduce themselves in a few seconds. They're going to answer one question each, and the first question they're going to answer is, what is the biggest opportunity in the Middle East in content? Quickly, specifically. Then, how do you win at that? And lastly, for all of you who have been participating in the MIT experience of the last few days and who are devoted to the issue of content, my question for them is, what is the biggest mistake you're going to make? It's better to know that right now. So they're going to tell you where the opportunity is, how to win in that opportunity, and what mistake you're going to make. So I think if we can pull that off in 20 minutes, you're going to have a lot to think about for the next 20 years. All right, so quickly, we're going to start with, in fact, one of my old friends, Kasrawa. We're going to go this way first, then back and forth. So quickly introduce yourselves, but just to give you a sense of what a heavyweight panel this is. We have Zawiya, we have U-Turn, we have Al Jazeera, we have MBC Group, and Kabila Media Production. These are the powerhouses sitting right here in front of you. So, Kasrawa.
I'm the chairman of U-Turn, which is an online channel. We have more than 300 million views overall of our videos, and we have 5 million subscribers between Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube in Saudi Arabia.
All right, so you're going to kick it off here. What's the biggest opportunity?
For us, I mean, we're video content. So the opportunity for us came, if you know Saudi, we have Saudi TV, which is not viewed by most of the people, or the youth, let me say. And then you've got other channels that are called Saudi, MBC, ART, and Orbit, but they don't have true Saudi content. The opportunity for us came where we filled a gap. We introduced Saudi content by the youth for the youth. So the viewers themselves or the youth themselves became the content makers. They created the content that the youth wanted to hear. And I think that's where opportunity came for us in U-Turn.
Great, thank you.
Okay, so I'm Perihan Abu Zaid. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Qabila, Qabila TV. To many of you may have heard of it. We create content as well on YouTube, but we even sometimes it goes offline. And we're based out of Cairo, but we've already worked with people or created content in 7 Arab countries. So I couldn't agree more. We're obviously biased because we both create video content, but I do believe that this is the greatest opportunity. 80% of the traffic online happens in Arabic, and people can't find information because even if it's written, only 3% of the content online is Arabic. But we're not big readers anyhow, so even if it's 100%, nobody's going to see that content or consume it. We want to see a video. If we don't see the video, we're not going to consume the content. So I do believe that video content is the biggest opportunity, and you don't even need to develop the technology for it. There's YouTube that you can just put your content on.
Hello. My name is Amjad Abbas. I am a director of digital media and IT at Al Jazeera Media Network. Responsible for the websites of Al Jazeera, the Arabic, English websites, and the mobile apps and tablet apps for Al Jazeera. I think there are 2 major factors in the Middle East which really generate or create opportunities for entrepreneurs for the Arabic content on the web. One of the factors is the interest of the governments to initiate or to adopt initiatives to bridge the digital divide, and hence initiating lots of things related to e-learning, e-government. The other factor is the age population, the youth age population. I think more than 50% of the population in the Middle East are less than 24 years old, which means students, whether school students or university students. So these 2 factors generate lots of opportunities. I believe creating genuine content for this population, which is students, and having innovative tools for consuming this content in an easy way that has a mix of education purpose, entertainment, and maybe gamification purposes can be a very good opportunity for entrepreneurs.
Hi, my name is Faris Akkad. I am the head of distribution and digital business development for MBC Group. For us, I think where we see a mass amount of opportunity is in the diversification of the way content is actually consumed. I think today, mobile, and we talk about different platforms, but I think there's a tremendous way or opportunity in which you can consume content not the traditional way. So, you can stream something on your iPad or your iPhone, and that's great, but the whole idea is to receive additional value or an enhanced experience through your iPad or your iPhone or your second screen, and in some places it's third screen or fourth screen. So we generally try to focus on generating good content and then leave the ecosystem to try to help us in generating additional enhanced experience. And I'll give 2 examples of this, one on the entertainment side and one on the news side. One of the companies that we've worked with, they happen to be in the US though, is this company that does this, it's called immersive technology. It's like a sphere that has, it's the size of like a small football, and it has around 11 cameras around it. And they came and pitched to us to have it in our in big flagship shows like Arab Idol or The Voice, etc. And you can place this camera anywhere in the studio, and the audience can log on to a live feed on their iPad, and it shoots 360 live, so you can basically look around and see what a judge is seeing or what a contestant on the stage is seeing or something like that. When we tested it, it has such huge appeal because it provides an individual experience to the members. And the other one is for Al Arabiya, where we especially during the Arab Spring, we enabled the Ana Ara application, which is basically enables you to shoot a video and upload it. It doesn't go on screen, we vet it, but we were getting something like 7,000 videos a day. And that's also very powerful for us as a news agency to be able to get this on-the-ground videos if we're able to vet them. So both of these are examples of using various platforms to enhance the content that's coming through TV. And there's tremendous amount of opportunities for entrepreneurs to come in on any of those.
Hi, my name is Ihsan Jawad. I founded Zawiya.com. Zawiya is the first, if you like, business media company for the region. In fact, we were the first to launch a financial newswire back in 2006. We called it Zawiya Dow Jones. And we built a substantial amount of business information, difficult to get business information, which we were able to sell at a premium through a subscription model, basically. I ended up selling the company to Reuters last year. Basically, Reuters bought 100% of the company, so it was a successful startup, if you like. In terms of opportunities in content now, the sad thing that people in the Middle East or the Arabs in general, don't read much offline, so they don't tend to read a lot online either, actually. So I agree very much with the panel here that video is, as a format, video is where the opportunity is, basically. Can we talk about exactly what?
Great. So I think we have some quick themes here, which is mobile video youth. I think if you narrate this together, and for All World, which I run, we have a program in India. The #2 company is called Bang Bang Films, which is a great name, but they specifically design mobile video, the 10, 15, 20-second hit from Procter & Gamble, and they have just taken off at an astronomical rate. So this is great. Now the question is, what does it take to win? All right? So we're going to start back on this end. If this is the zone, what does it take to win?
I think in media and in content, you definitely have to understand your audience really well, because it's and that's the holy grail. And you need to you also need to be yourself. You need to develop a brand. So it's very easy to broadcast and publish and create a lot of content for the sake of producing content, but the difficult thing is where you draw the line and say, this is me and this is what I stand for. Successful. I think, in fact, Reuters told me straight in my eyes, when we were signing the deal, they basically bought Zawiya for the brand, which was I thought, well, we're a small brand compared to someone like Reuters. But they said, look, in 10 years, we developed a strong presence in the business sort of environment in the Middle East, and they bought it for the brand. So it's very important that you build a brand, actually, from day one.
I definitely agree on the knowing your audience. And we. For us, we offer a wide bouquet of from news to kids to general entertainment, women, etc. And it's the way you approach each content and each segment, whether you're approaching it from a commercial standpoint or approaching it simply from a rating standpoint, you have to know exactly what's the current appeal, because that's also shifting in the Arab world on an ongoing basis. For instance, Turkish drama phenomenon that has reached, the Gulf here has been tremendous, and it even changes beyond content, changes behavior and habits. We had the Turkish ambassador visit actually about a year ago, and he was talking about how visits from Saudi Arabia to Turkey went up 70% because of Muhannad, and these type of things you have to be very much in tune for, especially if you're introducing new things, making sure that obviously it's in line with our cultural values, etc., but that this is what's working and what's not working. The second thing is I think because of globalization and access to content today, the audience's acceptance of cheaply produced content is much lower. So, you know, things like, even things like Bassem Youssef and some of the stuff that more innovative, cutting edge stuff that's being done is received very well because it's executed in a very well thought out, well produced manner. And I think audience today being bilingual and having options via internet or satellite to other providers will not tolerate anything that's subpar. And so you end up having, you know, especially a lot of the government channels struggling a little bit to keep up with this because the audience will simply switch you off into even Western content or any other content where they see a higher quality.
I think to win in this Arabic content on the web, to really achieve a success story, a startup should, number one, address as much as possible the mainstream, not to have a business in a niche area. Again, maybe the mainstream of the youth, back to my first point. And also to understand the value chain of content in terms of authoring the content or acquisition, publishing, and eventually consuming the content. So I don't think it's something very easy. Otherwise, we would have seen hundreds of successful companies in this field. I think it requires skilled people in terms of creating the content, whether it's part of your business or you get the content from others. The content itself should be very attractive, should be innovative, whether it's official, let's say, e-learning content, or it's an entertainment content. So you should use very skilled people to generate and author the content. On the other end, I think on the consumption, to succeed, you should focus also on the end user experience, the UI, user interface, and user experience, to really create something as successful as the interface of the iPhone, whether it's on the web or on the mobile. So not to forget the user experience and the consumer, how he likes to consume this content. So I think these are the two major success factors: the skilled people who generate the content to be as attractive as possible, and then tools and technologies to make it very user-friendly for consumption.
Okay, so I kind of come from a slightly different school. I would say to win the audience, there's two things. One is to focus on content, not production. And by that I mean to focus on a script, not the camera that's being shot. Because people want to see a video that is being told in their language, doesn't talk like what we see on television, Arab television now, or not even something that's Hollywood style. People want to see something that is their language, that is relevant to them, that they care about. So that is the part where Google says content is king. And I say, local content and relevant content is King Kong. So again, focus on something that people, the language of the people, something that people worry about. A very practical tip that basically can win you the money, because the people, the panel on my left side, they already have the money, so they're not looking for content to monetize much. But for a company like mine that's built on actually monetizing that content, so to win money from that, I would say you need to develop content that is more, people can come back to, so more on the format of series instead of a one-time off kind of content, that can also go across different platforms, go on YouTube and then go on other platforms as well, and can attract advertisers. Not just like a short film. It's nice and everything, but people want, to get the money, you need content that can be repeated, so more of series.
For us, again, the web is the battlefield now. Everybody is fighting to get attraction. So what you need to do is create, magnetic content that attracts the attention, makes people engage, and more importantly, share it. And the best way to do that is by being relevant, being entertaining, talking to the people on what is happening today. Comedy works, definitely. Politics sometimes being a little bit pushy, like some of the shows we have, Al-Fikra, it's a bit edgy, but it creates attraction. It wants people to see and to understand what is really happening in there. I would also add to what Perhan said, use multiple platforms. It's transmedia today. You cannot rely on one platform. For instance, you get YouTube, and then I would put Facebook. We'd have a Twitter account for the same show, for instance, like our show, where they support, because some people are on Twitter, others are on Facebook, others are subscribed to YouTube. So you don't want to leave anybody that you don't reach with your content.
Great. I'm going to use the moderator's prerogative to give my opinion as well. I do something very different. At All World, we rank fast growth companies. We believe real-time content on business is a huge opportunity. If you can provide something that it's like a heartbeat that monitors real-time, whatever the area of business might be, or beyond business, what an opportunity. So we believe real-time content. I want to completely agree with you on the notion of identity. So for us, we stand for growth companies, and people will say, well, why don't you do this, or why don't you do that? No, we stand for growth companies. All right, so identity and then being very focused on your niche. So we're about to run out of time, and these poor guys, I've heard them the last few days, had to do everything in 2 minutes, the entire world of what they're doing, from new pool cleaners to all sorts of things. And in fact, I'd like to buy all of your products, and I've bought some of them already these last few days. They're amazing. But they love content. Content is king. But most people in content fail. You're one of the few to succeed. So I want you in just 10 seconds to say to each one of them what their biggest mistake is going to be. Kasrao.
The biggest mistake would be if you treat online like conventional. You got to play by the online games. I mean, as they say, content, content, content. I would say it's content, entertainment, and relevance. Content by itself wouldn't get you much, because there's lots of content today. Everybody's putting content on the web. So content is not becoming the king now. If it's coupled with entertainment value and relevance, that's where it becomes important. So I would say the biggest mistake is not playing by the online rules and just going conventional. Just putting content in there, dull material. Even if it's video, it's not interesting, it's not well edited, long span. Today they have very short span.
Wait, are you saying a complete experience? What if
Absolutely.
Complete experience?
Absolutely.
So you've got to do that. Okay.
Relevant to online content, not television. Don't spend too much time planning, building the technology. Use YouTube. Don't spend too much time perfecting the script. If your gut feeling tells you this can be a good thing and it's relevant and it's in the people's language people care about, just put it online, and the audience would be your best judge and will give you even more ideas to develop.
Okay, so test very quickly.
I believe it's mainly the skills, creating the right content which is relevant, whether it's local content per country or per segment. It is really a difficult skill to author this content. So people underestimate the importance of highly skilled people who can really generate Arabic content which is really relevant and attractive. People think that I want to do some technology project and just focus on technology, on the tool, on the programming, on whatever, and it will succeed. No, it's mainly, I think, the skills which are the key success factor. Of course, other success factors are there, but many people underestimate the skills, and hence they fail.
Very good. Yeah. How are they going to fail?
I want to take a slightly different spin on this. I mean, obviously, the skill and the quality is essential, but I would say have very clear your monetization strategy of this content. Day one. Because at the end of the day, sustainability will come if you're making money or not. And we can learn a lot from some of the stuff, like how the Hollywood studios do this. So, I hear about YouTube, and, I like YouTube. I watch YouTube.
All right, you've got to get right to the point here. This is what they had to do.
Yeah, but
what is it?
The point is, if you're going to monetize it, then go clearly where you're going to monetize it. If you're going to put it on YouTube and get 150 million media views, but you're not monetizing, or you're not monetizing enough, then that's probably, not a fully thought out strategy. Because if you're going to invest more and more in content, and you're going to have high quality content, you're going to make sure you have your windowing clearly sorted out. When is it pay-per-view? When is it free to air? When is it going to go on video or DVD or etc.? Because that's the only way you can really monetize content years down the line. Otherwise, it becomes kind of a quick
we have
hit.
to move on.
Sorry, can I comment on this?
No, sorry, we are this much close to finishing.
Okay, so I would emphasize quality over quantity, actually a little bit. It's not about, it's not stacking them high and selling them low. I think just produce a little bit of content and put it out there and back and watch the reaction.
So you're saying
And
very
then
much
then iterate. But make sure that quality is, because that's the only way you can differentiate. There is so much content out there. So.
All right, so I think some summaries here quickly. Mobile video, and that speaks to short, sharp, test it quickly, with skills, and have an identity, really an identity around what you're doing, and ideally an experience that brings it together. I mean, that's a winning formula. If you can do that, I know you can monitor that they have won at this game. You can do it too. So hopefully you will spend a good part of this evening and the next 10 years getting to know them. And inshallah, 5 years from now, you'll be up here with the next set. He stepped out, but I want to really pay homage to Ken Morris, who 20, 30 years ago, like them, set in motion a whole new revolution of entrepreneurship and has devoted every hour of every day, and even when he's sleeping, to the success of others. And he has stepped out of the room, but I think you all share this view that without him, this conversation wouldn't be happening. So I think we give him a round of applause in absentia. All right, thank you. We ran 2 minutes late, and if we were the MIT team, we'd be thrown off and, shouted at, but I think we did pretty well. Thank you to the panel, too.
شكرا للسيدة آن حبيبي وضيوف جلستها الكرام. أخذت من عندنا هي دقيقتين، لكن احنا بنقصرها عاد من البريك اللي راح ناخذه الحين بعد شوي. على العموم حضورنا الكرام، عندنا بريك مدته ربع ساعة ونرجع مرة ثانية.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm incredibly honored and delighted to be here to speak with you, and just humbled that I'm amongst such distinguished people. I want to tell you some stories around pivots, products, and culture, and just things that I've learned as an entrepreneur over the last 15 years or so, over 3 startups. And the first set of stories I want to tell you, the first story I want to tell you about was my last company, which was called Argumatrix. We did blood glucose monitoring, blood glucose meters and strips for people with diabetes. I'm sure many of you know people with diabetes here, and they have to test their blood sugars all the time. And so this is a story that started out in my apartment. Actually, it was my roommate's apartment, and there he is, and there I am. We've been friends since high school. And we came up with a way, this came after a failed startup, my first company, which is a natural language processing software business. We did end up selling it to a search engine, didn't make much money from it, so I went back to school at MIT, dropped back out 2 months later to start this company. And we came up with a way of making sensors more accurate by better math, not using any new chemistry, which was pretty amazing. And so here we are. Oh, there it is. Our prototype, and 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, it actually made glucose monitoring twice as accurate with just better math. And as a result, we got some financing. And among the first investors in my second company were the investors from my first failed startup. And here it is, our t-shirt party. We moved into a basement, which has now housed my third startup, my current one, which is Misfit Wearables. And we found out very quickly that making glucose meters more accurate was not that useful. It turns out that it was the strips that make all the money. That's the disposable component, and we didn't know any better. So we made strips, and surprisingly, the strips worked, and so we got some financing. Over the course of our company, we raised over $50 million in venture financing. Or actually, no venture financing. It was actually either strategic or super angels, as we call them. Second pivot, we turned out that glucose meter making strips was very hard, so we ended up pivoting and getting other people to make strips for us, and that worked great. We got FDA clearance on that. We shipped our product in 2006, and there we are. we went on to make our third mistake, which was trying to develop a consumer brand. Here we are, spending lots of money on expensive ads, which was really unfortunate. And so we pivoted a third time, that was getting other people to market our products. And there's our first private label product. News spread about us being high accuracy, low cost, and demand for our products went through the roof, and we ended up getting going back to Asia to building another factory with the Korean government's help and a partner. And we built this factory, which is now one of the world's largest biosensor factories, making these strips. And then along the way, we discovered the smartphone, and we'd always been using them, but it never really occurred to us to work with them. And so we pivoted once again. We were making good money with meters and strips for a number of years, but we thought to really get some growth, we need to be dealing with data. And so we approached Apple to try to make a glucose meter that works with the iPhone. Their answer was absolutely not. And so after about 9 months of not taking no for an answer, we finally got a yes from them. And so that paved the way for a huge partnership with Sanofi. And between Sanofi, Walgreens, and Apple, we got distribution, marketing, and just lots of support. And here's the launch. I think more money was spent in these 3 days launching our product, not by us, but by Sanofi, than we as a company did spend for the first 4.5 years of our existence. So looking over the last 10 years, it's just been an incredible ride. Sridhar, my partner, and I have learned a tremendous amount of things, just things that we just never would have learned and figured out if we just didn't just do it. We invented a lot of products. We shipped a lot of them, over 3 million, almost 4 million glucose meters now, and just met some great people along the way. And we've, in a sense, redesigned a product category that has won awards, and we've had a chance to demonstrate it to some of the most interesting people in the world, and there we are. And I'm not here to talk about just past glories, but really just past lessons from all the mistakes that we've made, and I'm hoping I can have a chance to share it with you. I left that business 2 years ago to start Misfit Wearables with, again, my partner Sridhar on the right there, or to your left, and John Sculley, the former CEO of Apple and Pepsi. And it's an unlikely trio, but we're having a lot of fun. We invented this device that you can just wear and tracks your daily activities, and it's got a cool party trick in that you can transfer the data by just laying it on the phone. And so you double tap it, and it tells you basically how many steps you've taken for the day, or just how active you've been for the day. So once again, a big focus on design and just wearability. That's what we're working on. Here's just some pictures of it. And I talked a little bit about this yesterday at the crowdfunding talk. But what I really wanted to talk about here was just some of the lessons that I wanted to leave with you. Just 5 lessons and a few more stories. First is reputation. It's probably the most important thing. You probably learned that elsewhere. But for us, it was incredibly meaningful because we've had investors invest in all 3 startups. Misfit Wearables, incredibly speculative, but they supported us based on their belief in us. And at the end of the day, whether you're pre-seed or pre-Series A financing, investors are investing in the teams mostly. I would say 80% of your grade is probably the team. I mean, you shouldn't have a bad idea, but if you have a decent idea and an amazing team, I think you're off to a great start. And so guard your reputation, probably one of the most important things. Being lean. I read, I had a chance to meet Eric Ries, and I finally read his book, and I was just blown away. I just couldn't believe it. We were absolutely not lean for my first company. We developed everything in a cave, no user feedback, and it failed. And my second company at Argomatrix, we were unknowingly lean in many ways. We pivoted. We learned what it meant to get user feedback. We learned how to minimize the cost of experimentation, that type of thing, and maximizing the speed of experimentation. So if you haven't read Lean Startup, highly recommend it. That's probably one of the most important lessons I've learned. And so now at Misfit, everything is lean. Down to hardware. I mean, we took a video of the product, and then we sold it, and then now we're trying to make it and ship it. thinking about the user, this is probably something I'll dwell on for a couple minutes because it's probably one of the more important things that I've learned. For us, we tried doing focus groups for a while, and we just never really learned anything all that useful from them. They always told us, make the device faster, use less blood, etc. But it was never all that useful. So what we learned over the years is you have to be a user first, and then you have to watch users. You can't ask people for what they want because knowing what the customer wants, that's not their job, right? As the usual quote goes, and we learned that ever so painfully because we did just probably dozens of focus groups and we just never learned anything insightful. And so all of us ended up being blood glucose testers. We've been testing for years, and and none of us have diabetes, so that's part of the problem. Watching users as opposed to just asking them, prototyping rapidly, and then based on that, reflecting on your experience and seeing how the product was, and then iterating. And so that's the process I highly recommend to all the startups out there. Quick story here. We did this focus group where we just asked people what they wanted, never got anything useful, and so we sent cameras home with people, and we found this picture. The lady had a koala bear attached to her case, and we asked her, "Why do you have this koala bear?" Turns out she has arthritis, so she can't open the case, so she had to grab the bear to open it. And so we made a giant zipper from it as a result of this insight, and she loved it. And so despite the millions of dollars we spent on electrochemistry research, the best-selling feature was the zipper. And it's something that we could have discovered if we would have just asked, if we would have just made it and then just watched people use it. And so lesson learned. And so it's about anthropology, it's not about focus groups. And best interface, deep science, which we have lots of here, with a great interface. And so that's been the philosophy that we've taken. One other lesson that we learned over the last three startups, including this one, is not always relying on experts. You're going to be pressured, especially many of you young entrepreneurs, to you got to listen to experts. You got to bring on really experienced people, and that's great. Definitely take this, bring on that wisdom to inform what you're doing. But at the end of the day, they're just there to give advice, okay? And often free advice is worth what it costs you, right? Nothing. And so you have to be careful with that, because at the end of the day, you are the ones responsible for your decisions. I'm sorry? Yeah, you got it. Thanks. And so that's one point there. And the last piece, and I would say this is the most important thing I've learned. In my first startup, we did. My very first startup, we just hired a bunch of smart people, tried to get high IQ, right? Brain teasers and whatnot. And so what did we end up with? We ended up with a group of bright people with high IQ and a lot of social problems in the company. And then for my second company, we hired a bunch of experienced people because we were told you need expert advice. So we hired a bunch of people with 20, 30 years of experience. And what we found was that often they were not very skilled or even wise. In some cases, in many cases, we had people with 1 year of experience 20 times, not a person with 20 years of experience. And so we learned that basically culture is probably the most important thing that you can screen for in a person and that you're hiring. And so for us, we've defined our cultural values to be distinctive, to be such that it would drive our decision process, it would drive our ability to hire and our way of hiring or firing someone. And so being a misfit, being thoughtful, and being a servant leader, probably the most important things there. And so I think that was it. I'm not going to talk about that model, but yeah, if I could leave you with one thing, be obsessive about your culture, obsessive about how you hire and how you fire. And just because someone is a superstar, not good enough. They have to be a cultural fit with you, with your values, because that is what will continue on. And within the first 20 to 50 hires, that's all you have in terms of the ability, that's the only time you have really to be able to define your culture and to find the champions in your company to continue with that, because afterwards you're going to lose that chance. And that is especially true also if you're acquiring companies, and because you acquire a culture first, not just the people or the technology. So anyways, look, I wish all of you the best of luck for your ventures. I've just been completely blown away by the quality of the teams here. It's my first time in Doha, and so like I said, it's an incredible honor to be here. Thank you very much, and shukran.
شكرا للسيد سوني فو على هذه المشاركة. الآن حضورنا الكريم ننتقل معاكم لثاني جلسات النقاش. جلسة النقاش الثانية راح تكون تحت عنوان قصص ونجاح ضمن منظومة دعم ريادة الأعمال في العالم العربي. هالجلسة راح يديرها السيد دوغان شيروود مدير مركز كامبريدج للابتكار.
Good evening, everyone. It's an honor for me to be here and be part of this panel with these distinguished guests here to my left. My name is Dugan Sherwood, and I'm a director with Cambridge Innovation Center in Cambridge, Massachusetts. We have 25 minutes, which is not a lot of time, and so I'm going to cut my comments, make my comments very short. We are here to talk about the benefits of these great entrepreneurs. Thank you. And the results of the supportive ecosystem that they've had in the Middle East. But let me first just make a couple of quick comments about my experience being part of what I would really call a renaissance right now in the greater Boston area with respect to the startup ecosystem there. My office is directly across the street from MIT, so we really are in the heart of innovation in Cambridge and frankly really on the East Coast of the United States. And we've really boiled down the central tenets of why it's such a strong ecosystem into three things. MIT, money, ideas, and talent. Money, there is tremendous support both privately through angel investing and venture capital, publicly through grants and tax incentives, both locally, state and national. Ideas with MIT across the street, Harvard down the road, and all these schools in the greater Boston area, there truly is a tremendous source of support and guidance for students generating ideas through the school system. So strong academia and, frankly, talent. Talent, the ability for us to attract and retain some of the world-class students from around the world to come to Boston to study and find a way to keep them there, where they grow in their careers and in their life. That really has made those are the three core ingredients that we all feel has really generated a wonderful entrepreneurial ecosystem for us. So enough about that. I'm going to turn it over to my friend to my left here, and I'm going to ask each of you just to take a moment to introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your venture and your background, and then summarize your experience running a startup business in the Middle East. Sir.
Assalamu alaikum. Thanks for introduction. Hi, my name is Amran Al-Kawari. I'm a co-founder of a company called Green Gulf. We were established more than 4 years ago as one of the first private clean technology companies in the region. And having my background in energy, really me and my partner, we saw that this was something that we wanted to be involved in for a variety of reasons. Clean tech has become more and more topical recently around the world, but especially in the Middle East for a variety of reasons. Population growth and rising demand, and also consciousness about the climate and the way we live, the way we waste our resources. So all those reasons really why we wanted to be in this space. And we started off as advisors and moved on to become developers and investors, and mainly solar energy, waste to energy, and soon to be electric vehicles. It was a very challenging period in the beginning for several reasons, being the industry we decided to be involved in, but also energy generally being more of a government sponsored industry. But what we saw was that clean technology specifically also attracted different kind of people, technology people background in network, telecoms and IT, and that created a different kind of dynamic in the company we created and the people we brought in. The challenge was mostly really around the regulation from this industry, but specifically as an entrepreneur, the challenge was getting people educated about the benefits of clean tech. And I think now that's kind of, we've passed that. The real benefits though, however, the things that we were able to succeed was the people, access to people in this region, especially Qatar being where we're based, having the universities here, having a lot of engineers and IT background education people interested in this area. We're able to attract a lot of people and get them motivated to focus on this industry. And then working with actual clients that want to do the right thing. And it's our job, and it was our job initially to find the right commercial business model to convince them that you could do the right thing and also have it commercially viable. And we've been lucky to also have the industry really move rapidly during this period. And we've been at the right time in the right place, basically.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, my name is Khalifa Al-Haroun, also known as Mr. Q, your friendly neighborhood Qatari. And some people might know me from online as the persona that I have on YouTube as well as my personal blog. I'm actually a lawyer turned investment banker turned online guy, and I'm the founder of I Love Qatar, one of the heads of Vodafone, the head of innovation, and a board member of the Entrepreneurs Organization. So for those who don't know what iloveqatar.net is, the concept came to me in regards to like, how do I share information with people about what Qatar is all about? That was initially, it was just supposed to be a guide. And as we started to add different sections to the site itself, we decided, hey, why don't we just ask the people who are visiting the website what they want? So users said, too much white space on the top, so we reduced the gap. People said there are too many links on the left, so we reduced the number of links. People said we want an event section, so we added event section. So the idea was to create a platform that people felt like they owned. And it was all about community aggregated content. So basically the people feeding themselves with what they were interested in. And I wanted to create a purpose-based organization, and what that meant was a company that had a moral reason for existing. And quite simply, if you go up to a business, ask them, hey, well, why are you doing what you're doing? If somebody says to you, make money, then there's a problem there, because nobody creates a business not to make money. They create a business because there's something that they think that there's a need for in the market. And so I had three, I've been slowly honing it down to what iloveqatar.net's all about. The first purpose was to make Qatar a better place in everything that we do. And so what that meant is the people that worked in I Love, make sure that they felt a difference in their life. It meant people who use I Love Qatar, they saw that they were getting something much more out of the site itself. That's why we use a significant portion of our profits to support charitable causes and the community. So it's almost as if the more that the people help I Love Qatar grow, the more that we can afford to give back to the people. And then the second idea was, or second line is to give people reasons to love Qatar. Because I can understand, especially for the expat community, how it's sometimes things are a bit frustrating, in Qatar, but there are so many great, amazing things that are happening in the country and that we can all, we can all be proud of. And then the last element was for the people, by the people, giving back to the people. And that was basically the message that we give to everyone, that the more you help us grow, the more that we'll be able to help the public. Today, just to share a couple of stats, because I remember when we first came up with the concept, we were turned down from a number of different investors telling us the idea was too big, or your dream was too big. And today we have around 3.6 million visits per month on Facebook alone. We have around 5.4 million potential reach per month on Twitter. We have around 2 million visits per month on the website itself. And then we just recently started to focus a little bit on YouTube. And we just literally passed 1 million views, making us the most viewed local channel in the country. And at the end of the day, it was all about wanting to make everyone feel happy. And just to share a really quick story in just 1 minute, my uncle used to tell me that back in the old airport, not the old airport, but the old airport, Qatariyin, you know, they used to sit outside the airport and welcome the people who arrived in Qatar. That was because there wasn't so many people that landed in the country. And would literally welcome them, say, come on to the majlis, you know, come have a tea, and welcome them at a personal level. And so I see I Love Qatar as being the digital Qatari friend with that digital majlis that everybody can get, hopefully, to know what the real Qatari life is and to enjoy that Qatari hospitality. And so that's what iloveqatar.net is all about. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Elsa Aoun. I'm the co-founder of unusa.com. Unusa is a portal targeting women across the Pan-Arab region. We publish content on a wide range of topics, including lifestyle, celebrities, people, fashion. We've come a long way since we launched the website in 2009. We started growing our audience, and it wasn't very easy at the beginning because we needed to invest money, and when you start, you obviously don't have a lot to put in. So it was a slow growth until Facebook. I mean, we knew of Facebook, and we started our Facebook page. And since then, this has been a considerable boost to our audience. And today, after 3 years, we have 1.2 million followers on Facebook, and 600K unique visitors per month. We're actually an advertising-based revenue. I mean, we rely on advertising for our revenues, and we're planning to diversify into other streams. As for running, about your question on how to run a business in this ecosystem, I would say that there are two main challenges. The first being talent, and as you said, it's difficult to attract and retain people when you are a small company. In Unusa, we tried to do it a little bit differently. We relied a lot on outsourcing. And this might be a weird way for a startup to work, but we believed in it, and it helped us a lot because we didn't need to focus a lot on how to really attract, but at the same time we had the results. And the second challenge is financing. In 2009, there wasn't the same ecosystem that is present here today. So there weren't a lot of venture capital funds, and we didn't have access to angel investors. But ever since we participated in this competition in 2009, we had access to a wide range of great network, and we're trying to be present at nearly every event that's happening so that we can leverage on this. And that's our story.
Thank you very much. Mo.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mohammed Shaheen, and I am a co-founder in Advantag and CTO. What we're doing is basically we're trying to solve a problem that exists today, is basically creating a bond between the buyer and the seller. And basically we're trying to redefine what loyalty is today. Loyalty is a way it is defined today is about how much you spend. But this is not true loyalty. Loyalty is about how often do you come to that location and how much of a traffic you generate to that location. This is how is loyalty defined. This is a true definition of loyalty. Existing platforms define loyalty by how much you spend. So I can come to a specific location, spend $1,000 and never come back. But I'm considered as a loyal customer in that location. This is not loyalty. We were actually a finalist in last year's competition. So I have been in your position here last year. And only in a few months, we were able to actually launch our service in Dubai. We're based in Dubai. I am based in Toronto. We're doing our development in Cairo. So we're trying to leverage all these different ecosystems for our advantage. The name Advantag came from advantage, which basically we want to provide advantage for every consumer for his visits, as well as providing the merchants with an advantage from the user's visit.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Hinda Hbe'a. I'm the founder of InstaBeat. InstaBeat is a heart rate monitor that is specifically designed for swimmers. So it's a small piece that you put on the straps of your swimming goggles, and it tracks your heart rate, your calories, your laps, your turns while you're swimming. And the point is for you to be able to monitor your swim and to track your progress over time. I got the idea from a personal need. I used to be an AUB swimming team, and we were tracking our heart rate. I didn't find a suitable device, so I took part in the Stars of Science competition here in Doha, and that's when it all started. So afterwards, I was kind of pushed into the world of entrepreneurship. I wasn't really convinced that I should be one, but then all these things started happening. So I got seed funding, and then I took part in the MIT competition last year, and I won the first prize. And so all of these were immense boosts for us, for me as a founder, and for us as a team to know that we need to do this, and we are doing this. And running a hardware startup is hard, and you heard Sunny talk. It's a hell of a process, and running it from the Middle East, I cannot begin to tell you how difficult it is. And the thing, I think, in order to be able to run a hardware startup in Beirut is that you need to be really creative. Because finding talent is hard, and so we have our team based in Beirut and in France, but finding the resources to prototype the actual electronics and plastics is even harder than finding the people to work with. So we work with suppliers from China, from the US, from Europe, and I actually kind of like it because it pushes our boundaries, and we get to think outside of the box, and we got to iterate really fast. And so, I mean, in a year and a half, we were able to get to a final design. We iterated almost 7 times our prototype, and now we actually reached the stage where we can say we have something really close to a market product. Let's start to manufacturers, and we just launched actually our crowdfunding campaign to start engaging swimmers and to actually know their real feedback. And I encourage everyone to go through crowdfunding because it's an amazing experience. It's one thing to tell swimmers, what do you think of this? Everyone's going to tell you it's really cool, but it's something else to tell them what you think about paying to get this. So it's a completely different dynamics, and we've been learning a lot throughout the process.
I believe we have exactly 1 minute left, and then we have to leave here. So if I could ask each of you just to, in 10 or 15 seconds, go down, say in 5 years from now, what's one big change you'd like to see in this region as an ecosystem for startups?
I can start. I want more design-based companies. I want more hardware engineers, more industrial designers, and we want to create products and change and create the things we need.
I think one thing we're missing here in the region is education. Although we have lots of talents here, a lot of this part of the region is uneducated and need to have more education. I think this is a key for the success within the region and getting more talents.
Elsa?
I think it's a little bit change in the culture. It's accepting failure and thinking that, I mean, if you fail the first time, it's not a problem, you launch a second startup.
So I'd like to see a mentality change and towards competition. And so the old way of doing thinking was that person's doing what I'm doing, so I want to destroy them. I think the new mentality and the correct mentality that needs to change is I'm better than that guy, and that's why people will choose me. And so that's what I would like to see different.
Thank you.
I agree with all the comments. I'll try to be more practical in my comment. I'd like to see better bankruptcy laws for businesses, because that's really, when it comes down to it, that's where people have a lot of risk, and they're worried to take risks, and because you start a business, your whole life is signed away. If you have bankruptcy laws, like a lot of the Western economies, more developed economies, it would really help a lot of people.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the panel, and I'd also like to take a moment to thank Hala and the rest of her team. This really has been an amazing competition, and if this week is any indication of what's in the future, there's a lot of excitement here. So thank you, everybody.
شكرا للسيد دوغان. طبعا حضورنا الكريم، الحفل اللي راح نعلن فيه عن الفائزين بجوائز مسابقة الفكرة ومسابقة منتدى MIT لأفضل شركة ناشئة في العالم العربي، وبالتعاون مع مبادرات عبد اللطيف جميل الاجتماعية ما يفصلنا عنها إلا فاصل واحد، لكن ما نبي نطول لو سمحتوا، راح ناخذ بس 5 دقائق، لأن الخمس هذا أتوقع يمكن راح تمد معاكم على 10، فلو سمحتوا 5 دقائق ونرجع بعد شوي على أساس أن نكمل الحفل اللي راح يكون فيه طبعا أكثر اللحظات بالنسبة للجميع إثارة، وهو هي يمكن لحظات توزيع الجوائز والإعلان عن الفائزين في المسابقتين الفكرة وMIT.